Are we good to go? What's going on? I don't know what's happening. Number one, that we are, I've been telling you for years and years and years that omega-3s are toxic. They're no good for you. They just basically cause high levels of oxidative stress, oxidative damage, and a whole host of other problems that we don't really need to be taking. It was one of these products, again, that the health food industry introduced. It was a byproduct. It was a waste product. And so instead of discarding it and paying high dollar to discard this garbage, they decided to turn it into a health food. And it's not the first time this has happened. They did it with molasses, they did it with soy, they did it with aspartame, they did it with canola, they did it with isoflavones. Just about anything that was a garbage waste byproduct. They even did it with fluoride at one point in time. They sold it as a panacea as a health product. So you're wondering, well, what about molasses? How is molasses a junk product? Molasses is a byproduct of sugar production, either through cane or beet, and all that's there is sludge. If you actually look at it, it's nothing but pure crap. The leftover crap. I got to refrain from using the other word. It's not. That's all it is. It's not. It's all it's good for is fertilizer. That's all it's ever was meant to be. Well, they had all these wonderful attributes to it about how great and wonderful it was, and it was nothing but sludge you're eating, and it actually would feed cancer. So a lot of times when they're selling stuff in this industry, it's become an atrocity, literally, what they're doing. Fish oils are highly oxidative, causes cellular breakdown, causes myelin sheath breakdown, and now they're saying it causes liver breakdown, because of the way the fat is stored in the liver and the way it can lead to cirrhosis of the liver. This is incredible. Seriously, it's incredible. Another fat I'm going to talk about is the C-60, because I get questions on this all the time. Let me explain to you how this abomination works. Because a lot of times you're hearing all the wonderful, again, attributes of this brand new, high-age, super-duper, pooper-trooper product that's going to put a red S on your chest, blue underwear, leap tall buildings, bullets are going to bounce off you, you're going to have x-ray vision, you're going to perform like a porn star, you're going to have breasts the size of, cow udders, you're going to have a butt so tight you squeak when you walk. This is the whole genre of the health industry. It's all about sex appeal, imagery, and vanity. When you're talking a carbon nanoparticle, carbon fullerene, anything to do with a carbon content on a nanoscale, you're talking something that's 3 times harder than diamond. 3 times. 3 times harder than diamond. 100 times harder or stronger than steel. Tell me how you're going to break that down. Not going to happen. Now, when you encase this carbon crap that they're selling, and you bind it with a fat, in this case olive oil, and this is better, and you better pay attention to this marketing game here, because this is where you are all going to get it up the backside hard. And I'm not going to pull any punches here on this. You are going to get screwed good and hard with this nano delivery stuff, nanoparticulate stuff. And don't be afraid, for crying out loud, when you see something that is just no good, to say just no good. You don't need my approval. When something is garbage, it's garbage. And if you're not sure, look it up. Look up what a carbon nanoparticle, carbon fullerene are made of. You should be able to deduce that something this dense, this hard, your system cannot process or break down. Now, Now, here's the catch-22 here. You bind it with a fat, and you're creating a liposome delivery method. This is the sabotage up the brain. Up the brain, through the back side, through the front side, through all sides. This is the main sabotage here. The liposome now will carry that carbon particle into your brain, which will be then used as a power source, because that's what the graphene does, is it conducts power or energy of any kind, light, sound, electromagnetic, electricity, heat, doesn't matter. It is 100% direct delivery. There is absolutely no resistance with these particulates. Zero. So now this is in the brain, using your brain's synapses and the electrical impulses from your brain to conduct power. Could cause even brain oxidative damage. This power now will be supplied to the nanoparticles in your brain so that they can now assemble. The fullerenes can now attach themselves. The bots and the dendromeres and the quantum dots can now work in unison to create a bigger network in your brain. This is the hijacking of the day. And again, anybody who falls for this is because, one, you haven't gone to my website and started looking at the nanotoxicology, nanotransformation. There is so much information there that would explain this to you. And all you've got to be able to do is read and deduce what is being sold. When we're talking nano delivery, we are talking using tiny little robots, quantum dots, dendromeres, to get whatever we need to get inside the body to create the corruption of the DNA that they are looking to do. When we're seeing this, and again, I see this because I have been involved with this for quite some time. There's only one other guy out there like myself who's this versed in this that I know of anyway, and that's Brian 396. There are other people now getting caught up on this, and they're beginning to get caught up on this, and they're beginning to see the full implication of the hijacking going on here with this nonsense. If it's on a metallic level, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's copper, zinc, manganese, magnesium, calcium, silver, gold, whatever. If it's on a nano scale, it is going to fry your brain. For you men out there who still have a set of testicles, if you want to maintain a healthy set of testicles, you don't want nano silver, you don't want titanium dioxide or nano titanium, and you don't want cadmium. These three metals alone will penetrate the blood barrier around your sac and literally fry the canals that carry your seed and cause high level of mutations in your seed, so that if by some chance your seed with the nano in it should somehow connect with an egg that also has nano in it, you will produce a mutation. What you're going to produce, I have no idea. If it even connects. If it doesn't self-destruct and, again, abort itself in 6 weeks. That's where we're at today. So when we're looking at this stuff, you better be alarmed. And if it does frighten you, good. I don't apologize. You need a shock treatment. You need to wake out of this kindergarten mentality. This is what they've done to us. They have taken our brains and put them down below the waist. Everything we do today, we do based on what's below the waist. Because in that mode, you are stuck in the thought process of below the waist. You're nothing but herded cattle ready to be studied, slaughtered, and worked. That's it. That's where it's at. You can't evolve beyond wherever you are as long as your head is down below the waist. I mean the head between your shoulders. Doesn't matter what gender you are, men and women, I should say, men and women, men and women, men and women, okay? Mankind, okay, mankind. When we're talking in terms of what we're exposed to today, on the grand scale of things, and how we're being hit, okay? How many of you are being affected with frequencies. How many of you are being are targeted individuals being hit with frequencies? Let me explain something to you about this as well, so you get the picture really clear of what you're dealing with. Because we have been inundated with so many nanoparticles, specifically nanometals, nanoproteins, which are highly conductive, nanocarbons, nanosilicas, which they keep selling you in the health food store. Go get your silica. Go get your horsetail. It's organic. It's natural. Yeah. Okay. When you consume these things, you're loading the body up with the building blocks that's required for this nanotechnology or nanobiology or synthetic biology or pseudo-life, as Gwen Scott used to put, a pseudo-life, can utilize now to assemble and build a network within you, causing your mitochondria, causing your skeletal structure, causing your DNA, causing the ATP in your body to become unglued, not to mention the chromosomes and other genes in the body. That's what you're doing. And we have been consuming silica anyway in the bread, in the grains since 1960. They had loaded this stuff up, combining silica with carbon, because that's what your bread is a carbon-based food. And this has basically intertwined with itself, and this is why so many of you today are having, fibromyalgia, skeletal destruction, connective tissue breakdown, even brain functionality, immune dysfunctionality, because of the concentration of these particulates. You cannot break silica down, period. And when it's on a nanoscale, it's damn near impossible to break down. The only thing you can do at this point is collect it and remove it. And if it has interfaced in the construction, okay, in your genome, in your DNA, then it is going to be a pain in the backside to remove this. And that's where a majority of us are today, who have been afflicted with nanobiological poisoning. I don't call it Morgellons because Morgellons leads you to, again, a misdirect in regard to just a simple pathology. This is anything but simple. Anything but simple. We have never, ever encountered an integrated biological nano agent that can go into the system, bypass the immune system because it's on such a small scale, attach itself to the genetic code and the DNA, and then start to rewrite or overwrite the code, even shutting off your immune functions, over-activating your immune functions, literally causing a complete shutting down of DNA response mechanisms that would trigger a defense mechanism. This is the Trojan horses of all Trojan horses. And it's causing high levels of mutations in all of us. The millennials are screwed the hardest because the millennials have never eaten anything organic. And if you still are under this delusion that you're eating an organic food, look up in the sky. If you're going to tell me that's a condensation trail, then you know what? You're done. If you're that stupid to seriously believe that that's still a condensation trail up there, then you obviously have lost your mind. You don't know what condensation is. And if you're from my generation, a 50s baby, and you're going to tell me that's condensation up there, I'm going to remind you what condensation is because you have really fallen off the wagon as far as your mental acuity is concerned. Okay. Condensation, when you were a child, when you were breathing out oxygen or out the carbon would vaporize very quickly in the middle of winter, and that's at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit, freezing. The atmosphere above us is minus 40. When we used to see an airplane when we were children in 1960, remember when you were 5 years old and you looked up in the sky and you saw an airplane flying and the tail of the airplane was very small and it would disappear almost immediately? That's because the carbon crystals crystallized at that temperature zone up there and disappeared. What you're seeing now in the sky is a line of chemistry falling on our food supply, loading them up with all kinds of nanopathological agents mixed with biology and programming from nano. When you start reading in the literature that they're adding nano gold to turmeric to kill cancer, This is such a pile of rubbish. Because what the turmeric is what will kill the cancer. The gold will actually become lethal to the system because it will translocate and cause other problems, breaking down the DNAs. This is what they do. They hold the card in front of you, show you an ace of spades, but behind the ace of spades you got all that background that's there that you don't see. And this is what they're doing. So you need to seriously open your eyes and quit being played. The airplanes today do not burn the fuel that they once did. I think it's less than 5% is fuel. It's just basically one big fan pushing the airplane. Very little exhaust is coming out. So when we're looking at what we're dealing with today, you need to, when we're looking at today what's going on, everything is a snow job. Open your eyes. Call a spade a spade. Don't allow the hearsay, the mob mentality to move you in whatever direction they want you to go into. Understand the nature of this science. It has never been tested. Never. It was released into the environment long before any tests were done. The tests that were done afterwards have showed and indicated without question the lethality of this science. This should never have been allowed. Now we got an idiot in the FTC that wants to release 5G without any research, any development, just allow the innovators and the moderators just to throw it out there without studying it, without looking at it, without seeing the repercussions of this. And if anybody challenged this goof, they removed them from the environment. What happened to freedom of speech in the United States of America? What happened? Here in Canada, we have controlled speech. I'm gonna give you I am going to give you a link to what the Prime Minister of Canada did. He was on Fox News. They were interviewing a scientist that had been challenging the concepts of linguistics and mankind and the ideologies that the Parliament and Prime Minister are now pushing in Canada. They are trying to take us away from our template by removing the word mankind. He actually corrects somebody in the speech. So if you want to look at it, I'll give you the link. www.foxnews.com/world/2018//02/4/04-using-for-mankind. Or just type in the search, Prime Minister corrects woman for use of mankind. And it'll take you to the Fox News. This is just to show you how ridiculous things are getting. And how they want to further deviate people from their true origins. To make you feel like you're part of a collective. Being part of a collective means you're part of a herd. Ready to be slaughtered, ready to be exploited, ready to be experimented on because you are no longer an individual. Because the term mankind protects you and gives you the rights under the true laws that were there designed for mankind, put there by God. But the moment you take away that term mankind away from you, you are no longer protected by the laws that were determined for you by God. Now you are at the mercy of the AI world that you're living in today. The moment you separate yourself from the Creator, you are now at the mercy of whatever is here. And that's the bottom line. You have to start paying attention to these things, okay? We are being again overwhelmed. We've been saying for the longest time we need to use the proper terminology when we are determining who and what we are. We are of the race of mankind. God did not say, let us make people kind in our image. Did he say that? No. Did God say, let us make humankind after our image? Did he say that? No. Did he mean that? No. Did he say, let us make man in our image? That's what I read. Let us make Adam in our image. Whoa. That puts a whole new meaning of what God is saying and what that means for us. Now, if you say you're human and you agree to the context that you're human and you go into a court of law, you've lost. Because monsters have no rights. The term human means monster. Start looking these terms up. Start becoming familiar with who and what you really are. They have displaced us so far from our origins that we have lost connection to who and what we are and who and what we should be connected to. That's what they've done. And if you follow the media and you listen to these half-wits in their discussions about trying to deface or demean people who are standing up for the truth, the Bible says he who speaks the truth, how's it go? Something about, oh heck, truth has fallen in the public square, and he who speaks the truth is a prey for evil. Not, I forget how it goes exactly. It's been a long time since I read that concept. It's in Isaiah about about, I think it's Isaiah, where if you speak the truth, you become a prey, and you do. You become a target. Talked to a colleague and friend of mine there, Bye Bye Blue Sky, and she came out and did a BBC interview, and she has been targeted by people with their ridiculous concepts. So we know these are turn-ups. We know these are maybe plants that may be put there to attack her person or personage, or to attack her what she's presenting, because she's speaking the truth. If more of us started speaking the truth, if more of us started talking about the truth and didn't accept the nonsense that the governments are trying to propagate to get us to accept this new world thinking, okay, again, a lot of this would stop. AI technology, nanotechnology, in my humblest opinion, should be banned. It should be discarded. It should be removed. This blockchain shouldn't even get off the ground. And all this 5G nonsense shouldn't even be implemented. There is nothing about this technology that benefits humanity or mankind in any way, shape, or form, other than to tether the humanity or mankind further into the abyss. That's all it's about. Oh, come on back. I hear the music, and we'll further get into more of what we should be thinking about. All right, see you in a bit. I think we're back. I think we're back. You're listening to the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. I am your host, Tony Pantelleresco, and we are back. I want to further take this thought of what we're dealing with today, and it's going to be extremely crucial today. I get calls. I'm getting calls now daily, for either through email or phone calls or whatever. People have been exposed with nano poisoning. They're seeing more and more. They're seeing the research more and more. A lot of them are going to the site. A lot of them are learning. If you haven't been to augmentinforce.com, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? A special invitation? You've been invited. Get in there. Start studying this stuff. You need to be aware, fully aware of what's going on. I had somebody contact me the other day. It was so funny. They're watching this creation scientist crap, and they on the YouTube they purposely were showing nano constructs through the body and then calling these cells robots and that they were naturally occurring. And I wrote her back and said, you know what? In my day, we never had robots in our bodies. They might be there today, but back then we didn't have them. Why? We had cells that communicated with other cells. Okay, and what these guys were doing was they were buffaloing people with the idea that they think that they were selling them on the concept how this nanotechnology was a part of us and it was a normal natural aspect to us. Nothing was further from the truth. And this is the deceptions that are going on today to make you think that you're a machine or you're part machinery. I'm not sure how that's even can be conceived. Now, I think in the future, with the exposure of these nanobots in the body, and as long as people can keep on reproducing, eventually we're not going to have a human race. We're not even going to have mankind. What we're going to have is a genetic abomination. That's what we're going to have. And this genetic abomination is not going to be in any way, shape, or form remotely close to the original template of creation. They're going to tell you that it's going to make them more. How so? When everything that's being done today is making you think below the waist instead of above the shoulders. When you have that kind of mentality, all you've got is a soldier or an animal or something between the two. That's all you've got, a killing machine. And again, entertainment is going to go back to the gladiator days of Rome, but this time, you're going to have a super soldier or a genetically enhanced anomaly battling another genetically enhanced anomaly, so we can see which genetic code or genetic program is superior. That's where this is heading. And this is going to be going on as well throughout. If this continues going the way it's going, they're already telling us that AI by the year 2050 will have taken over the planet completely and will then start to eliminate what's left of the human race or mankind, if mankind is still here. It's not going to need us. The planet will function well without us because now we have a new and improved creation here, made by an abomination. The planet will be reorientated to fit an AI construct. The AI system will be God, literally, on this planet. Or a God, I should say. Not God, but a God. That's where it's going. And you can see it, it's already here. Your kids cannot put the cell phone down. People are walking down the street and they cannot let the cell phone go. They have to feel like they're connected to this box. They might miss a phone call, heaven forbid. They might miss something on a social media campaign. And the social media campaign, like through Facebook, is using artificial intelligence to read you, to determine if you're a threat or not. An invasion of your privacy. And you, again, blindly go to these places and capitulate to their experiment without batting an eye, some of you. Some of you know and you still go. So when you're looking at artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, synthetic biology, pseudo life forms, okay, that's in you. It has been in you for quite some time. And now what's happening is activations are starting to happen all over the planet through either targeted individuality or through frequencies from towers or even frequencies from the cell phone or just being in an area where frequencies are transmitting to activate these particulates or this program operating in your cells, operating in your mitochondria, operating in your DNA. And some of you think that this is foolishness and that's just, you know, sci-fi conversations. I am going to tell you, and this is for you specifically, because you're the moronic ones. You're the ones that have got your head up your arses so high that you don't know what fresh air smells like. You, once you get hit, and when the saturation and activation begins, you're the ones that are going to commit suicide. Because you're going to think that everything that you believed in, everything you thought, every concept that you thought was, you know, that you were fulfilling is now being shattered. Your dreams, your hopes, your whole way of thinking, your whole way of life has come to an end. You have outlived your usefulness to this system, and now they have turned on the switch, and the process is now beginning. That's where eventually it's all going. I'm already seeing this. I've been exposed, I've been hit, I've been fighting this, I've been reducing it down. Others like myself have also been fighting it and reducing it down. We have a head start. We know what we're dealing with. The rest of you better get caught up. You better understand this is not a game. These guys are playing for keeps. They will violate your DNA. Guaranteed. They all have a record of your DNA. The moment you were born, the moment they took blood samples from your body as a young baby, they got your DNA on record, and DNA is nothing more than a transmission, a signaling frequency that transmits from you, which can be very easily be located with the right technology, and can be harnessed, activated, or violated. That's the truth. And if you think I am foolish in what I'm saying, maybe you better do some research. Go look at the patents on these things I'm talking about. It would serve you well to do so. It would serve you well to do so. You know. Yeah. Truth failed, and he that departed from you will make himself a prey. Okay? And the Lord saw it, and displeased him, and there was no judgment. No judgment. These political leaders, these parliamentarians, these congressmen, whatever system you've got, if they're allowing this crap to keep on going, seriously, you won't have a country. You won't even have a state or a province. What you're going to have is just a failed disaster. You know, this stuff has gone to such an extent. I mean, it's in your food, it's in your air. Now, how do you protect yourself from frequencies? Something, because we were going to do a show on this a while back, and we got caught up on other things. How do you protect yourself from frequencies? One of the things you can do to protect yourself from frequencies is to meet a frequency with a frequency. Okay, one of the things you can create are magnetic vortexes. You can create magnetic pulses. You can have an antenna of some kind that can resonate at a certain frequency. If you understand or know the modulation of the frequency coming at you, you can match that modulation hertz to hertz, and you will block whatever comes in. If you're not sophisticated to understand that, then you need to start learning on understanding materials that block high and low frequencies. Copper, iron, and aluminum are the big guns that you want around you or about you in order to disperse or to remove or to deflect whatever hits you. Those are the three base metals. There are other metals as well, but those are the three big ones: aluminum, iron, and copper. When you're sleeping in your rooms, you need to make shielding that is like a Faraday cage, and you may want to incorporate both the copper, iron, or copper and aluminum, or aluminum and iron mixture, so that you are now going to deflect a variety of frequencies. As I stated earlier in the show, when we are dealing with frequencies, we are not dealing with one. You have multiple polymer material, metallic material, fullerene material that have different variances, different sizes, different shapes, all on a nano scale, that work with frequencies to align themselves and to assemble. And because you've got so much of this in the system, silver resonates at a certain frequency, copper resonates at a certain frequency, gold resonates at a certain frequency, magnesium, iron, potassium, sulfur, and any other metal or mineral in your body all resonates at a certain frequency. And when you're on a nano scale, the modulations on this technology is at over 100,000 modulations. You are not going to shut this off with a rife machine or a spooky or a zapper or any other kind of direct assault. If anything, when you hit it, it will alter, morph, change, and become completely different, and the technology you're using will become useless. So when you're dealing with this, you've got to deal with it in a way where you're going to put it to sleep, using fields and pulses to put these things to sleep. Then you also have to use saline salts or baths in order to extricate this out of the system. Once you shut it off, once you turn it off, you have to remove it, or you still have a high level of metal toxicity in the system because of the nature of nano. The nature of nano is concentrated particulates that are in the body. So instead of having one particulate in the cell, you may have hundreds or thousands in one cell. That's the density of the poisoning because of the high volume in the system. When we tell you to use the bucket, what are we doing? We're creating a field around the body, which again is shutting off the technology. So then as your body circulates your bloodstream, or as the cells and stuff move through your system, everything is down usually at your lower extremities because your body tries to push everything away. It then gets released because you've deactivated the program, and now it can come off. Basically, you wiped it clean. When we're talking foods, okay, you have to start considering what collects nano in the body. Fat, oil, one of the things that will collect it. Saponins also collect it. Pectin also collects it. Don't use the clays. The clays have silica, aluminum, and some have lead in them. And when you swallow this stuff, contrary to what they tell you, it's not going to be completely absorbed in the colon. In fact, a lot of that will also leak through the colon through what they call a translocation process. And then will begin an assembling somewhere else in the body. If you're smoking, they should be ceremonial tobacco that the natives use for ceremony. If not, then when you light up a match, you are breathing in a black carbon particulate, and you're going to need to get things like sulfur to get that out of the lungs, high amounts. You women need to start using Epsom salt, teaspoon of Epsom salt in a quart of water daily. You are extremely susceptible to aluminum. Activates your endocrine system and can cause severe mutations to affect your system, causing breast cancers, ovarian cancers, and whatnot. You have in your bladder an estrogen receptor site that if the aluminum can get down there, it will activate it or deactivate it, and thereby will give you problems in the bladder that can lead to infections. When you're peeing out and you're taking a leak and you're peeing, and you see this white stuff come out of you, that's not necessarily yeast. That's biofilm that the body's excreting. And if you give yourself these pulses and these baths, you may see maybe within a day that you may be peeing out a lot more white foamy material. That's the particulates coming out with the biofilm. That's what you're dealing with. So a lot of this that they're, again, expressing to you in the mainstream health system, they're not even touching this. When we're somebody wrote me something here and I can't repeat it. Oh boy. When we're dealing with what we're dealing with today, you got to be smart. You can't use the mainstream alternative health today because they're not dealing with this. They're still using the same rhetoric and cycling the same old stuff that they've been cycling for the last 20 years. It's not going to touch this affliction. You know, it's really time, like I said, to look at what's really going on. You can't, it's been the theme that if I don't make waves, nothing's going to bother me. I got news for you. You don't make waves, you're going to accelerate the problem further. And you are already having damage being done to you. Somebody says, well, I don't feel anything right now. When you do, I'll be one of the first people you're going to call. I assure you. Or you're going to go, I'll tell you the process. So before it happens, you'll know what you're going to do. You're going to go to the doctor. Doctor, I've got this problem going on. I got this skin issue going on. Oh, doctor, I can't remember nothing. Oh, doctor, I'm in constant pain in my body. They're going to give you some kind of medicament. Doesn't matter what it is, cream, pill, whatever. You're going to take it, and then you're going to wind up with problems. They're not going to work. Or if they do work, the side effects are going to be astronomical. And then you're going to be dying from the medication. And then you're going to say, well, I can't handle this, so you're going to quit that. And then the whole time you're on these medicaments, since they didn't do anything, all they did was suppress the symptoms, but the cause was still manifesting, was still assembling, was still replicating, was still repairing itself, was still taking over you. You are now further afflicted with the component. Save yourself some grief. Doctors are not dealing with this. Most alternative healers are not dealing with this. You're going to need to start thinking how you're going to deal with it, and that's where you're at today. Let me see where I'm at here. Give me a second. All right. Well, this is going to take some time. Okay, when we're dealing with frequencies, again, okay, you can use certain EMF type frequencies. Not all EMF is bad for you. Again, sometimes when you hear the term EMF, right away you think it's all bad. It's not. Not all of it's bad. Some of it actually can have some healing properties. But if you're using EMF, unless you're in the microwave range, you're in the microwave range and you're going to have problems. So when we're talking EMF frequencies, if they're on the lower ranges, they can actually act as a diversion or offset what is coming at you. keep in mind, it isn't going to block everything. Like I stated, because you've got so many variants in your system, so many variables of these particulates of different materials in your body, you have several different frequencies that you're being attenuated with at one time. So whatever you're going to do, you may not stop all of them, and don't expect to, unless you're living in a room like a lead painted house with a copper insulated inside, grounded into the ground, so that if something does come in, it gets neutralized from the inside and outside, and then on top of that, you're underground. That's where we're at today. Look around you, the towers, the cell phones you're using, the towers that we're using for phones, the portables, the AM and FM. You still have that going on. You've got shortwave frequencies going on. You've got RF frequencies. You've got a lot of different, and there's probably a ton more out there. A ton more out there. Okay, you're going to have to pay attention. When your kids go to school, what are they getting hit with? Wi-Fi. Ooh, Wi-Fi. So again, it's important. It's important that you recognize that the health issues you're dealing with today are not just a simple, oh, I got a cold. You don't have a cold. Oh, I got this flu. I've had this flu for 6 weeks. Really? You've got a flu for 6 weeks? Did you ever think maybe it's not a flu, but an infection from some other source? Maybe the air you're breathing? Maybe when they drop the snow and rain on you and they release some sort of biological nano agent, integrated agent together? Did you ever think possibly that it could be something like that? Did you ever think possibly there might be something in the food supply that they might have sprayed that might be reacting with your system, causing your immune system to be suppressed? Did you ever think that? You're going to the store, you're buying meat, it's got nano silver, you're buying a packaged good, it's got nano silver, you're buying this, it's got some other nano component, you're reading all, and they sprayed it in the field, you got smart sensors going on, smart dust going on, all being utilized by frequencies. They never get turned off. You consume them. Now those frequencies are also modulating in your intestinal tract, in your esophageal lining, in your stomach lining. So you say, well, I got GERD, I got pylori. Maybe what you got is smart sensors and smart dust accumulation in your digestive tract that has frequencies still activating the program. Did you ever think that? Did you ever think that? Did you ever think that possibly the STDs that you're dealing with may not be STD, but a biological agent integrated with a nano program to keep your reproductive system in suppression? Did you ever consider that? Things are making you go, with. Okay, before I go on, I'm always talking about the Micro Effect Broadcasting Network. I'm also talking about, how you need to support them, keep them, keep them on hand. For sure, make sure they are, in your support, so shows like this can keep going on. You got byebyeblueskies.com. Again, go to her site. She's just had a big turnout. She's had a lot of turnups as well. A lot of turnips as well. In regard to, interview she did. So again, check out the interview even. I mean, it was an incredibly good interview. We're doing the Green Show. Again, it's going to be in, I believe in March. I think 6th, 7th, and 8th. Again, I want to keep reminding you about this. Keep that on your calendar. Come up there and meet some of us up there so that we can, say hi and see what you guys have and interact and talk with you guys. So come on out to that Green Show. It's going to be up in Toronto during that time. Then you got me down here at 519-977-5351, or you can go to augmentinforce.com. Look at the catalog link. Check out the catalog. See what's there that might interest you. The flash drives. You might look at some of the nano technology that I've come up with to help you out to avert some of this. The bucket, the triangle, the repulsors, the portable grounding units. We also got the old-fashioned remedies that can help, again, boost the system. We've got books on DVD. I also do consultations as well. It's all there, all in one package. Go check it out. If you're interested, either send me an email or give me a call. The email is independz@yahoo.com. INDEPENDZ@yahoo.com. Or again, contact me at 519-977-5351. Alrighty, there was a lot more I wanted to cover, but my time has run out, and it's okay because then we'll come back to the next show and I can talk more. I want to also point out that on my link there in the for shared link I've got, for those of you who have not been to my website, go to the for shared link. I have just uploaded a ton of information in regard to a variety of different topics, including the nano. So go check it out, the for shared link. All right, listen, I hear the music. So listen, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll see you Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern. Check us out. Take care. Stay networked. Solve some issues. Take care.